the Lord of Dogs, Anubis. This legendary person, whom the ancient Egyptians declared a god, became one of the most feared characters of Egypt during his reign that lasted thousands of years. According to the belief of the ancient Egyptians, Anubis, for whom 8 million dogs were mummified, put the hearts of the deceased on a scale, and the fate of the person in the hereafter was determined according to the weight of the heart. Surprisingly, even today, there are many people who believe in Anubis, and efforts are being made by global forces to resurrect this jackal-headed figure. If you are ready to hear about this incredible character from the ancient world and the events that unfolded, let's begin. Have you ever wondered about the beliefs regarding life after death in a culture surrounded by mummies, spells, and tombs beneath the shadows of the pyramids? When we think of ancient Egypt, all the images that come to mind have one common thread when it comes to beliefs about what awaits them after death. The jackal-headed figure, Anubis, is prominently featured in video games, movies, and documentaries whenever ancient Egypt is discussed. Let's get to know Anubis, whom the Egyptians deified. What did Anubis mean to them? To understand this better, let's go back to the moment of a person's first death. Ancient Egyptians believed that after death, their souls would continue to exist in a realm similar to the living world in the afterlife. However, according to them, the transition to this other world was not always certain. The deceased had to embark on a risky underground adventure and pass various tests before facing final judgment. If these stages could be successfully completed, only in this way would their souls be able to pass into the realm where they could live forever. The right preparations made by the individual throughout his life contributed to the success of this process. See, according to their beliefs, what are these stages after death? The ancient Egyptians worshipped Ra, the sun god, and one of the many gods they believed in. The first stage after death, according to them, began with Ra's journey westward. They believed that Ra entered the underworld with the setting sun and traveled through it during the night. It is believed that Ra had a boat, and when he entered the underworld, the spirits would join this boat and start their own journey. During this journey, they believed that souls encountered various dangers and challenges. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the various challenges and trials faced by the souls of the dead in the underworld are quite complex. These difficulties usually came in the form of gods, monsters, and various trials that they believed in. When the souls of the dead entered the underworld, there were a series of doors or passages that they had to pass through. Each passage had a guard. They believed that these guardians were often terrible monsters. Spirits need to know certain spells, prayers, and names in order to pass through these passages. During the journey, souls encountered various obstacles and traps and had to overcome them by knowing the correct spells and performing the associated ritual movements. Therefore, they memorized all this information while still alive. As Ra's sunboat continued its progress in the underworld, they faced another significant challenge, a battle with a giant serpent. That is, a giant snake that is a representative of chaos and destruction. A battle with Apep took place during the journey on the boat. Souls were expected to assist Ra in this battle and defeat Apep. If they successfully passed this stage, they believed they reached the most challenging stage, the encounter with Anubis. Ancient Egyptians eagerly anticipated this stage in the afterlife when they encountered the jackal-headed figure they deified, Anubis. Anubis would place the heart of the deceased on a scale representing truth and justice and place the feather of Ma'at on the other side. The side that weighed heavier determined the individual's fate in the afterlife. If the heart outweighed the feather, it indicated an excess of wrongdoing throughout the person's life. If the side where the heart was located went down, the person would be punished in the hereafter, and his heart would be eaten by Amit. This meant that the person could not transition to eternal peace. Amit was a terrifying creature with the characteristics of a lion, crocodile, and hippopotamus. If the heart emerged lighter, the person's soul would find peaceful existence in the afterlife. So, who was Anubis and how did he come to be? In ancient Egypt, mummification was initially a practice reserved for the wealthy and important individuals. Because the process was complex and costly, not everyone could afford such a burial. The poor were typically buried with simpler methods, often involving a pit in the desert. Over time, observers noticed that jackals in Egypt were drawn to these burial sites in the desert and roamed around them. This observation led to the belief that jackals had a connection with the souls, eventually giving rise to the belief in a jackal-headed god. They named him Anubis. Anubis being depicted as jackal-headed was likely inspired by these observations. Anubis was made both the guide of the souls in the other world and the most important helper and protector during the mummification phase. During the mummification of the dead, priests often wore Anubis costumes and headdresses to pay homage to Anubis and evoke his protective power. Inside the tomb, along with many other items, mummies were buried with small Anubis statues, believing that these would protect them in the afterlife. The Anubis statue extracted from the tomb of the child pharaoh Tutankhamun in 1922 by Howard Carter and his team is one of the best preserved Anubis artifacts today and is displayed in the Cairo Museum alongside other Tutankhamun treasures. Anubis continues to be an important symbol for some groups today. A colossal Anubis statue was brought and placed in the garden of Denver International Airport, a place associated with extraterrestrial life and mysterious events. Moreover, in the state of Oregon in the United States, there is a mysterious temple in a forest about which little information is available. It is forbidden to enter this mysterious place, where the statue of Anubis greets you at the entrance, and it is also unknown what is inside. A rumor among the locals is that there are long underground tunnels under the house. It seems that even after thousands of years, the interest in Anubis persists, reaching corners of the world beyond Egypt. The presence of around 8 million mummified dogs in the Saqqara region of Egypt serves as another testament to the reverence shown to Anubis, the jackal-headed god declared in ancient Egypt. Yes, Egyptian mythology is a heritage that sheds light on history and is a treasure worth learning if we preserve our beliefs. However, it's essential to remember that in Christianity, the one true God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and real salvation is found in His path. Don't leave the stage to jackals. Until the next video, farewell.